All right, and welcome back to Step by Step, hosted by yours truly, Frederick Smith. I want to talk to you guys today about something that was brought to my attention. A video is circulating around from Mesa, Arizona. That's MESA. I want you guys to, after this show, I want you guys to go and check the full video out. It's about a shooting of a police officer shooting a unarmed Caucasian young man. He was about 26 years old. He was at a hotel. He was an exterminator, and he had a pellet gun that he used on the job, and it looked like a real gun. I really did. It had the scope on it, the whole nine. I mean, it looks like a real shotgun. And he had been in the hotel and he had been drinking. Now, during the video, you hear the police officer ask him and the young lady that was with him, had they been drinking or were they on drugs, to make sure that they could do all the things that the police was going to ask them to do. They wanted to make sure that they were sober, and they both said, yeah, that they were sober. Well, once they checked with the front desk at the hotel and the people that was hanging around the lobby, they confirmed that this young man had been drinking. They said that he was pretty drunk when this incident happened. But he had invited some people up from the lobby up to his hotel room for some drinks. They had ordered pizza, and while they was there, he showed them his pellet gun. And him and the guy that was one of the guys that was in the room with them, they went to the window and they was, playing around with the pellet gun, aiming it out of the window. Well, somebody, nowadays in time, you see a gun hanging out of a window with a scope on it, you start to think it's some type of terrorist attack. So someone called the police, and when the police came, of course, you call in and say somebody's in the hotel hanging out of the window with a gun with a scope on it. The first thing you're thinking about is Las Vegas, so the police came in, finger on the trigger and ready. So when they came in, they called for the young man and the lady, everybody in the room, they called for them to come out. And once they came out of the room, they started giving them commands on what they wanted them to do. They wanted them to lay down, stretch their hands out, cross their legs, the whole nine. Now, but the thing about it is, once they got him out of the room and got him on the ground, it seemed like everything went kind of wrong. The police started to give them some kind of, like Simon said, commands. It was as if they was kind of, to me it seemed as though they was just, having fun with these kids. They was telling them to shut up and that they was going to kill them if they moved, and, just shut up, I didn't ask you anything, and okay, now lay down and stretch your hands up, cross your legs, now get on your knees and don't put your hands over here. I mean, it was just so weird when you watch the video. It is so weird the way they was treating these young people. But in the end, he asked the young lady to crawl out, which she did. And once she crawled out the scene, it was just a young guy laying there, and they started giving him more demands. And when they finally got to the point they asked him to crawl out, the young man was crawling and his pants was coming down. Now, mind you, the young man had been drinking. Another thing about it, I thought about it was, because the young man was a young white guy, he probably had never thought about an incident going down like that with the police. Because usually, white people get the benefit of the doubt somewhat with police officers. So, in his mindset, he probably never thought about how this could turn out. Now, if it was a young black male, the first thing in his mind is, whatever this man tell me to do, I'm going to do it because I don't want to get shot. You're at the point to where they would have to ask you to do something 4 or 5 times just to make sure that's what they want you to do before you move, because you know what the outcome could possibly be. But as he was crawling, and mind you, again, he had been drinking, his pants started to come down, and when he was crawling, he reached for his waistband to pull up his pants. Well, as he was bringing his hands back, the cop shot him with a automatic, like a AK or some type of assault rifle he had. It might have been one of those AR-15s or AR-14s or whatever it is. But he shot him a couple of times, 5 times to be exact, and killed the young man. The young man died. And it was horrible, but it really looks like the young man was assassinated. It looks as though this was just, to me, looking at it, it seemed like this cop just really didn't have any heart at all. It's as if he, it's just like it was just an everyday or just another day at the office for him, shooting this young man that many times. But the officer was charged. He was charged with second-degree manslaughter. But again, you already know that the officers pretty much get the benefit of the doubt. Now, when you watch this video, it's going to be really upsetting when you watch it. So make sure that if you're the type of person that you can't really handle watching things that's a little disturbing, then you might not want to watch it, and make sure you keep your kids away from it as well. But it's a video that could possibly upset some people based on how he was shot and the incident that occurred, how he was treated in the whole 9 yards. It makes you think, is this a police and black young unarmed men, or is the police just all out against all Americans? But the officer was charged, and he went to trial, and he was acquitted. He was found not guilty and freed. And it upset a lot of people. But I think now in America, with so many people looking at unarmed black men, and I understand a lot of times they feel, because of the way we are portrayed in the media as being these angry, always upset criminals. The masses of people, when they see a young black man being shot, the first thing they think about, well, he was probably doing something wrong, because a lot of times we are really aggressive. A lot of times we really are. We're aggressive. I was watching another video tonight and the young lady was upset at a restaurant, and she said something that caught my attention. She said, if y'all want me to act black, okay, well, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to act black. And I was saying to myself, she is equating the fact that she's about to get loud and obnoxious and angry and cursing. To her, she's a young girl. But she equated that to, okay, this is how black people act, so I'm going to act black now. That's what you wanted me to do. You wanted me to act black, I'm going to act black. Please teach your kids that's not a proper way of talking to people. Teach them that acting black doesn't mean that you're ghetto or you're angry or you're loud and cursing. That's not what, okay, so if that's acting black, then what are you doing when you're just calm and relaxing? Are you acting white? Are you acting, Chinese? Are you acting Mexican when you're calm? And when you're loud and angry and upset, you're acting black. We've got to fix that. That's something that really needs to be taken care of. We have to change the projection, how we see ourselves as in the community. But this video, I really want everybody to go look at it. If you would, you can Google it, and it's Mesa, M-E-S-A, police shooting. You can pull it up and watch the video for yourself. I have some pictures that I have. It was hard for me to get the video to upload, so sorry about that. But I have some pictures that you can see right up here that kind of give you an idea of what's going on. But the wife is suing. This young man was 26. He was married. He had 2 kids. And, now they're without a father. But it was pretty upsetting, and this just goes to show that now in America, it's really getting bad out here. We really have to take heed. Don't be that person that feels like this is not going to happen to me. that it only happens to this type of person, or it only happens to males, or, that's not the case. It can happen to anybody. It really can. I mean, the little smallest, simplest, the most simple thing. I mean, this can happen to you. And I understand a lot of people want to fight for their rights. They want to, and there's nothing wrong with videotaping. If you get pulled over or if you confronted by the police, I want to tell people to video. I encourage you to video all your interactions with the police, because I think consciously, even though a lot of police officers really care less about the camera now, because it don't make no difference what it shows, they're gonna get acquitted. But with some, they don't want that stigma attached to them. Because they're losing their jobs, their careers going down the drain, and a lot of those guys don't want that to happen. So if they know you're videoing, and that conscious mindset would kind of trigger them to, bag off a little bit and be like, okay, well, I'm not going to be as aggressive. Instead of trying to escalate the situation, they will try to de-escalate. But we have to keep these things in mind when we come into contact with police. And let me say this real quick. I see a lot of videos where, you get pulled over by the police, and the first thing you want to do is argue with them and tell them, I don't consent to this, I don't consent to that, and why are you asking me for my license? What crime have I committed? And you probably have that right to do that, don't get me wrong. But let me just ask you this. Is it really worth possibly losing your life over there? I mean, I trust me, I get it. I've been pulled over. I know how some of those police officers can be very aggressive. They can be, they can really get under your skin sometimes. But is that really worth your life? Sometimes you got to, pick your battles and live to fight another day. I'd rather live to fight in the courtroom than, being 6 feet under and, my family trying to fight for me and the cop get off anyway. Sometimes it's best to swallow. Sometimes in life you just gonna have to swallow some things. And a lot of those police officers, now just as well as I do, it's a lot of great police officers out there that's really doing their job and doing great jobs. But at the same time, you have some out there that power will go to their head. And sometimes it comes from their experiences. If we can, why give those guys out there that's doing a job? If you wasn't breaking the law, they won't have no reason to put you in jail, even though they might try to find something. Don't put yourself in a situation to get caught up. If you're going out to ride around, why go ride around dirty? Why have marijuana in your pocket? Knowing it's a strong possibility you can get pulled over. If you get pulled over, they're going to find it. Why put yourself in these situations? You got to think about it. Think about your future. Think about it for a second. Why put yourself in these situations? If you don't have a permit for a weapon, why ride around with it? Especially if you're a felon. A lot of you guys most of you guys ride around with guns, you never use them. It's just for show. Now you get pulled over. Now this little show stuff can get you put in prison for years. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. It's not worth it, man. I don't see why guys are so eager and so, nonchalant about getting locked up. I don't want to be locked up. I want to be free, where I can go and do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it. I don't want to be locked up. That stuff is not cool anymore. Those days are over when you think being in jail was cool, as crazy as that sounds, but those days are over. But if you get a chance, go ahead and check that video out, and and come back and comment down at the bottom. Now, if you get a chance as well, I want you to comment down at the bottom, but I also want you to subscribe to this channel. I want you to like this channel, and I want you to share this channel. I want you to come on. I need some support. I need you guys to support me and to help me build this thing up. You know, we got to do this thing together. So like, share, and I want you to subscribe and comment. And if you want to email me, we have an email address. It's stepbystep, the letter Q, the number 1 at gmail.com. That's stepbystep, the letter Q, number 1 at gmail.com. So come on, I want you to support me, help me out. I want you to subscribe, give me a thumbs up and like it. I want you to share. And please leave some comments after you watch the video. Come back and comment and tell me what you think about it. And let's discuss it. All right, God bless you. You have a good day. Remember, we love you. We're not going to judge you. And we won't do this thing. We're going to build it step by step. See you next time.